Evening, welcome to the Rams review. Owen Bradley with former Derby County captain Sean Barker alongside, here to bring you a reaction to another sickening defeat for Derby County this afternoon. The Rams have lost to a last-minute winner from Sheffield Wednesday. It looked so good for so long for Derby. Ebu Adams fired them into a deserved 9th-minute lead, and they were the better side for long stretches of this game. But Barry Bannon equalised for the visitors midway through the second half, and then in the final moments of 4 added minutes, a winner from Jamal Lowe left Derby empty-handed. Now, Derby had plenty of chances in this game. A couple of big saves from James Beadle in the visiting goal. Jerry Yates hit the woodwork as well. Derby have only conceded 4 shots on goal in their 2 games at home this week, but have left empty-handed from defeats to Swansea and now Sheffield Wednesday. A reaction to come from downstairs. We'll start with Sean Barker, who's alongside as always. Everybody sort of a bit speechless after that, Sean.
Yeah, I'm sure it's a difficult one to take in the dressing room. Certainly it was in the stands for the fans and those watching. The last 2 games and the last week has been proof of if you don't take your chances, if you don't start games well, you'll get punished. There's no doubt over the 180 minutes in the 2 games we've played, Derby have been the better side, they've created the better chances, they've had more opportunities, and we leave with nothing. So it's sickening. It's disappointing, it's frustrating, but it's the reality of Championship football. It's ruthless at times, and the disappointing thing today is when we got the first, we had opportunities to get the second. Players who you'd want in front of goal having those chances. Jerry Yates, in fine form, got 3 in the last 3. He comes into it fresh, he doesn't take them, and it always had a sense in that second half that we might be punished, and unfortunately, right at the death we were.
Well, from Box in a moment, if Derby had won by 2 goals today, by the way, they'd have gone into the top half of the Championship and would have been as close to the playoffs as they would be to the relegation zone. Instead, they're just 5 clear of the bottom 3. We'll show the table in full a little later, but let's go downstairs and get some reaction from the head coach, Paul Warne.
Yeah, I think I feel the same as everybody in the stadium, really. I don't think anyone left here thinking that we didn't deserve to, well, at least get a point, but to get all 3 points, it was the biggest snatch and grab ever. And if you don't get the second goal, there's always that chance of that happening. Look, I've just been in the dressing room. I didn't really know what to say to the lads. It's not a moment to, critique everything, but I thought we were really good. I was really proud, and we try and drive performances, and obviously we want results. Obviously we want to go home with 3 points today, and we just didn't get that second goal, and that was elusive for us. And unfortunately, a wonder strike from Barry Bannon, and it was. I don't know how many players on the pitch could have scored it, truth be told. So it was a wonder goal from them, and we had chance on chance, it felt like, and the 2 chances that hit the target went in. So feel for the lads, they've given everything. We made as many changes as we could, and I thought we outperformed him in most departments. I do. I don't think it was a bad performance in any way. However, the scoreline would suggest different.
We talked before about how, in some respects, the game is all about what happens in both boxes. Was it simply that the case today?
Yeah, I mean, we've when we watch the highlights back, you'll see how many opportunities we have in the final third and how close we were for a couple of set pieces and open play. We had a couple of good chances, and we changed the team today. I just felt like we weren't creating enough clear cut at the final third, although in fairness we had enough the other night as well. And it just seems to be a bit indicative at the moment that we don't take enough chances to win a game. That means everything else is pretty good, and I don't think, there will be people who didn't enjoy the game, but if they watch it back, I think they'll be really proud of how our team played. But you just got to take the chances when you're on top, and unfortunately we're just that little bit short. And if you look at Sheffield Wednesday today, they had 2, they took 2. We probably had 4 or 5 good ones. We hit the bar, had a really good chance middle of the 6th. So it's just disappointing, and it's difficult because I don't want to, the old baby in the bathwater. Like there's hardly anything wrong, but unfortunately in the last 3 home games, I think we should have got 9 points and we've got 1. So I'm not naive enough to say, look, I'm pleased with the performance, but which I am, but we're in the business to collect points, and that's what's disappointing, because I think the lads have given everything. If you go in the dressing room, they are heartbroken, as no doubt every Derby fan that watched it.
Despite those results then, is it still a case, you think, for you, if you're going to trust the process here?
Well, I don't know what more we can do to win a game of football. That's my honest football answer. I mean, there's obviously loads more intelligent people than me that can tell me what went wrong. But I don't know what more we can do to win. We create a lot of chances against a good team who were very good players, obviously. And I thought our lads, like, if we played the game again tomorrow, what would we change? Until I watch it back. But what would you change? Not a lot. I thought we had the starting 11 right. I thought we made the subs and tried to inject a bit of pace. I thought there's some amazing performances. I thought Cash was, for me, the standout player. And it's just disappointing from our throw-in, they end up scoring, and then to score that late on in the game, the last 10 minutes just felt like everything we did wasn't a foul. Everything they did, they got a foul. That's what it felt like. And that's probably me being a bad loser, but that's what it felt like. So, like, we need to shake ourselves down. We've got 2 big away games coming up, and need to be positive with the lads, because I think there's a lot to be positive with. It's just disappointing that I thought we were going to come away with 3 and ended up with nothing.
You sort of alluded to it there. You have got 2 tough games coming up, as everybody knows. Is it too early to think about how you pick everybody up, or is that process already started?
It hasn't started. I have to pick myself up first and all my staff. That'll be the first process, and then we'll try and pick the lads up, although it's difficult because it's a bit of a deep wound. I'm not going to lie. You can play bad at home, you can get booed off at home, you can deserve to lose, so to speak, and you can get outplayed in every department, and that is depressing in a different sort of way. Or you can play right on till, even more so. I knew the lads would perform well after the first 20 minutes against Swansea, but play as well as that and not to come away with anything is a different mindset and a different thing to pick up. And I don't want the lads to ever think, oh, we were a little bit unlucky, and like, oh, it doesn't, you start thinking like that. It's not great. You just got to think, like, did you give your all? Did the result reflect the performance? No, but I was really proud of the performance. I can't say I'm not, because I am. So my job is to, pick the staff up and pick the lads up, and not to feel sorry for themselves. That's football. That happens all the time. That we won't be the only team today who got robbed of points. So that is is what it is. I need to pick the lads up, pick the staff up as well, and try and pick the fan base up, because I understand that everyone will be disappointed, but I appreciate the people who stayed and clapped the team off.
And that's Derby boss Paul Warne, about as down as I can remember seeing him, to be honest, Sean Barker, and understandable given the way that today's game finished. Let's deal with the finish first. Barry Bannon showed his quality, didn't he? After struggling to get going for long stretches of the game, Derby played him quite well. But is he the only player on the pitch that can do what he did for the Wednesday equaliser?
I don't know, but it's certainly not the player you want to see drop to on the edge of the box. His first touch was exceptional. He only needed that first touch to set his sights on the far corner, and he finished brilliantly. I think you recognise that Erin Cashin noticed that it was Barry Bannon and dropped almost on the line to hopefully get a touch, but he found the top corner. It's a brilliant finish, and it's what he's done year after year. He's got that quality, and unfortunately it fell to him. So there were long spells where we, especially in the first probably 45, 50, 60 minutes, where he wasn't too involved and he was a little bit sloppy for himself. But if you give him time and space and you allow him opportunities on the ball, he can punish you with that sort of quality.
He had another chance shot wide, which I think was Sheffield Wednesday's only other real opportunity towards goal, until you get to the final minute of the game, almost the final kick of the game. Patterson crosses for Jamal Lowe. As with any goal, I'm sure there's lots you can pick through. But how did you see that goal?
To start off with, there was a contentious decision. I think it was against Caden Jackson with a 50-50. I thought there's a little shove on Erin Cashin on the edge of the box. As soon as it drops there, you have to clear your lines. You have to just get rid of the ball, and unfortunately we didn't. It came across to Patterson, fortunately again for him, and Wilson just got caught the wrong side of Lowe when the ball came into the box. And I had a nagging feeling as the game went on, when you're playing well and you're dominating, you've got yourself a goal ahead, There were 2 or 3 glorious chances to make it 2-0, to pretty much seal it, because Sheffield Wednesday hadn't really offered too much of a threat. When it goes to 1-1, it was open. It was probably the opposite of what happened for the first 55, 60 minutes of this game, where we didn't allow that space to open up. And it became a game where either team could have won it, and that's not what the performance deserved. It's not what, for long spells of the game, looked like and warranted. So, you know, a dagger in the heart, and it's important for Paul to pick himself up and pick up the staff up quickly, because they're in a position that I would be happy with at this point. I think they've picked up some really good performances. The last few performances have been good enough. This is the nature of the Championship. Paul's experienced it as a player and as a manager, so he knows this is how it goes. If you don't take your chances, if you don't make the most of opportunities, if you start games slow, you can be punished. And unfortunately, we're on the receiving end of the last few weeks. We've got to twist that. We've got to stay positive. We've got to pick up some good results. And I've mentioned to you, I fancy us against those bigger teams where you're almost not expecting anything.
Well, we saw Derby get the victory against Middlesbrough here early in the season, didn't we? Very much against the run of play. You talk about the chances, and we're going to hear from Kane Wilson in a moment. He talks about how it's not about pointing fingers at individuals. Derby did have chances today. I mean, as on Wednesday, they created an awful lot and couldn't take it. Jerry Yates, who scored lots of goals recently, not able to convert with the opportunities that he had today, but he wasn't the only one.
No, he wasn't the only one, but he's probably the one that's more glaringly obvious, and he's the centre forward that plays week in, week out, that we expect to score, because he's in fine form, he's a wonderful player, and if it was dropping to anyone, you want it to drop to him. I think, I'm not sure anybody will be able to tell us, but I think he guessed. He just dove down to his right-hand side, hoping that Jerry would take it on that side, and he did. And I saw Jerry look at him afterwards like, you've guessed that. That's the way it works sometimes. And the other one, obviously off the crossbar, Ibu, little overhead kick. On a different day, you get that second goal. You get the second goal, it's a comfortable victory. Everyone's leaving here happy. It wasn't to be. It's just unfortunate that we came away with nothing, because we deserved something. Everyone in the stand knows that we deserve something from the game.
And this afternoon was a bit of an inverse of Wednesday night and the defeat to Swansea, when Derby were pretty awful for 20 minutes and much better the remaining 70. Thought first 20 minutes today, Ibu Adams scores 9 minutes in. Derby looked really good.
I thought they were outstanding. Now, exactly the opposite of what we saw against Swansea. On the front foot, aggressive with the press, playing forward quickly. I thought the 1 and 2 touch passing was as good as we've seen for a long time. The passing was sharp. It was connected with different lines. It was simple, but made look really to look really, really well. I thought Osborne in the first 45 minutes was exceptional, sitting that little bit deeper, and we saw time and time again Cash finding a pass from the left-hand side all the way to the right, and we caused them all sorts of problems. Again, the only argument was not maybe making more clear-cut chances with the dominance that we had. Sheffield Wednesday, set pieces, they asked a few questions of it in the first half with set pieces and corners, which we defended well. So many things went right, but ultimately the things that went wrong were the goals, and those things are the ones that punish you.
Just a quick note before we hear from Kane Wilson. Derby have a very tough game away at Leeds next weekend, and they'll be without Callum Alder and Ibu Adams, both suspended. Ibu in particular, big hole to fill.
Huge hole to fill. I thought it was a different player when he was booked. The first 40 minutes he was outstanding everywhere again, tackles. He was the one that was drifting to that right-hand side and stepping through players. I thought he had a real tenacity and energy, which is him. It's why we love him. But after the booking, he was just a little bit more refrained, a little bit more careful, because the referee had already spoken to him on numerous occasions. So it took away some of his performance, but he's going to be a big miss, because the last 6 or 7 weeks since he's been back in the starting lineup, he's been a huge player and been so impactful that it is a shame. But you've got to fill the gaps, you've got to fill the spaces up. And if there's a game that after a couple of disappointments, when everyone's feeling kind of low and sorry for themselves, if there's a game to go to, Leeds at Ellen Road, there's none better. I don't think anyone's necessarily going to expect anything. The staff, the manager, the players have to believe that we'll get something there. And sometimes strange games, very difficult games that you're almost written off, are the ones that can turn things quite quickly.
We might clip that up and have it ready just in case for next Saturday, when we'll bring you reaction to Derby's trip to Ellen Road here on the Rams Review. Right now, let's bring you some more reaction from downstairs after today's defeat to Sheffield Wednesday. Here's Kane Wilson.
I feel physically sick. Yeah, it's a horrible feeling. It's obviously gut wrenching. It's horrible, and it's probably the first time in my career that I've lost that late, so it hurts.
How surprised are you to be standing here having lost that game, given how well you started, the fact you took the lead?
It's baffling. Like, not baffling. It's football, but like obviously it's. I think in terms of what it's worth, performances. First half, we felt like we had complete control. Second half, maybe that control went a little bit, but it's always going to happen. Obviously, we needed the second goal and it didn't come, but Sheffield Wednesday, they've turned us over and it hurts.
Underlines the cliche, doesn't it, that you need goals, and that second goal would have changed things totally.
Yeah, it's easy to say, and it's not to blame anyone, or not to say this person should have done that. This like I had a header, I could have scored. I mean, everyone's to blame. Everyone should chip in, but goals change games. 2-0. I think that game is put to bed. Hindsight's a beautiful thing, and like obviously it's easy to kind of sit here now and say we scored 2, we're going to win it, but yeah, it hurts. It's just still 1-0 up. It shouldn't mean we don't win the game. The first one's a good finish, and the second one, there's obviously dubious. Maybe it wasn't a foul, but then there's so many things we could have done to stop it. I could have got around and maybe stopped the goal going in. So it hurts. Yeah, like everyone's got to play their part. So we got to pick ourselves up now and move on.
Can you get your head around the fact that the chances you created on Wednesday, the chances you had this afternoon as well, and yet from these 2 games you've come out with nothing?
No, I can't get my head around it now. It's hard. It's one of the hardest things to take. It's not. It's the first time I've experienced it in football, I think, where I feel like we're playing really well. I feel like we're really competitive. I feel like everything should be going right. We should be looking up, climbing the table. But for some reason at the moment, the results aren't coming. And to be fair to the gaffer, Richie, Hammy, they've still got a calmness. There's no panic. But obviously, we know as players we've got to start putting results to bed. Not sure really why we can't get the win at the moment, but it will come.
That's Kane Wilson after today's defeat for Derby, which brings the championship weekend to a close. Incredibly, no one in the bottom half won this weekend. Victory on Friday night, Sheffield United took them top. Big wins for Middlesbrough yesterday, for Bristol City as well. Norwich hit 4 past Luton 2. In terms of the table then, Sheffield United do lead from Burnley after Leeds slipped up yesterday. Sunderland, Middlesbrough, Watford round out the top 6. Sheffield Wednesday go back into the top half. In the bottom half, Swansea the side that drop into the bottom half of the table. Derby stay exactly where they were in 15th, still 5 points clear of the bottom 3, which is Hull, Queen's Park Rangers and Portsmouth. Pompey do have a couple of games in hand. That's all from us for now. If you want more reaction to today's game, it'll be on the website, dcfc.co.uk. And we're back next Saturday. Do join us for the trip to Ellen Road if you can. But for me, Barks and the team, goodbye for now.